Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including new software features for all Teslas, what layoffs could mean for Tesla's future, crazy Cybertruck mods, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla has just released the newest software update for their cars, and it brings some handy quality of life improvements to version 2024.2.3. First, Tesla has officially begun rolling out their adaptive headlight feature to select vehicles. This uses their LED matrix headlight technology to reactively dim parts of the car's headlights while high beams are on to avoid blinding other cars on the road. Currently, this is only available on new Model 3s over in Europe, but we have word that it should be arriving on other models that have the matrix headlights. This is not currently available in the US. Another update that we have discussed a bit already on the channel is a change to the font size of warning lights. NHTSA put out a recall on Tesla vehicles because they recently discovered warning lights were too small and posed a potential safety concern. Tesla addressed this in a software update, making those warning lights larger and more visible while driving. They've also added a new feature that will remind you to plug in your car when you are parked at home with less than half of a charge. In order to receive this reminder, you must have set your home location and charged there once before. This is a small feature, but a welcome one. For anyone ready to leave in the morning who forgot to plug in their car overnight, this will be a very big help. Next, Tesla has added a feature that should improve charging efficiency. Your car will now automatically adjust to the power level of each DC charging station before you arrive. This should mean that the preconditioning and charging process can be handled more efficiently every time. A new contextual unlock button has been added that will sometimes appear on the center screen. For example, it will appear if someone tries to open the car from the outside while somebody is in the car. In addition to that, Tesla has also added some security improvements. We're not exactly sure what that means, but it's a good sign that Tesla is always working to secure customer cars. The Trips menu has seen a redesign as well, having made a few small changes. The Trips reset buttons have been moved up from the bottom to be directly next to the trip meter. The Show in Trips card is also now all on the same row, meaning all trips can be seen at once without scrolling. They have generally improved readability so that information is easier to see at a glance. On top of this, every app will actually be displayed in the All Apps menu when it is opened, rather than just apps that were not pinned as favorites. Lastly, Tesla has added some more details to the additional vehicle information menu that raises a few questions. They have added a line which indicates whether your vehicle is capable of third-party NACS DC charging. This is really intriguing because it seems to imply that not all Tesla vehicles will be able to charge at future third-party NACS chargers. That certainly seems odd that certain chargers will be off limits, since that's kind of the point of NACS to begin with, to create a charging standard that lets any car plug in at any location. In the meantime, though, we'll have to wait and see what this actually means. Next up today, some signs from Tesla may be pointing towards upcoming layoffs within the company, and it could point to a very interesting couple years. Tesla went through a comparatively rough Q4 last year, with their sales coming in lower than expected. That quarter also marked the first time that Tesla was dethroned from the spot of best-selling EV manufacturer, with Chinese automaker BYD outselling them. It is pressure from automakers like BYD that has forced Tesla to slash prices across the globe, and their status has been challenged a little bit. Slower than anticipated sales and lowered prices have put the company in a bit of a tight spot. It looks like they are also dealing with general demand issues and the fact that their cars still start at nearly $40,000. Now, a report from Bloomberg has stated that Tesla managers have been asked to assess all of their employees based on a simple metric: are they critical to the company or not? That's certainly a hard decision to make, but it does seem to reflect Elon's thought process regarding employees. After taking over X, then Twitter, he had a lot of demands for his new employees, and nearly 90% of the staff there were let go. So this initial question does seem to reflect that strategy a bit. Bloomberg adds that Tesla went on something of a hiring spree recently, so they're likely eyeing their staff as a source of major cuts going forward. They've always seen ebbs and flows with staff, but right now they specifically say they are in between growth waves. This means that production and sales won't be able to keep increasing at rates that they previously thought. The next growth wave will likely come with the next generation vehicle, or when something else big changes to boost sales. These layoffs are not confirmed at this point, so we can only speculate as to whether it will happen and for what cause. Tesla definitely had a tough last quarter, but they are still generally in great shape financially and sales-wise. One thing they have instituted that shows that they are trying to create some demand this quarter is FSD and lifetime supercharging transfers. That's a way to get older customers to upgrade vehicles, and they only really add these incentives when sales are needed. Even if these layoffs go forward, that's not inherently a bad sign for the company. This could just be a reassessment of their employment needs as a company, and this is their way of slimming down. It's always rough when employees lose their jobs, but this could be a reaction to a recent overhiring or general overstaffing on their part. As for what this may mean for the future of Tesla, though, it could be something that helps them focus in on their products that make them the most money. They can divert some resources here and ultimately potentially bring costs down to drive more sales sales of their current lineup. Maybe another price cut for the Model Y is due for them as well. After all, the last time the price change there was in October of 2023, and interest rates are still very high. The Juniper refresh is expected soon as well. Restructuring could be something that helps them here. Really though, we can expect their next big hiring spree to come once they are getting the $25,000 next-gen Tesla ready. This car is going to need a lot of expertise to get underway, and then they are planning to scale that to levels that we've never seen them scale before. That's going to require a lot of staff, but should contribute to what will be their next big growth wave. So yes, it's never great to see a company having to impose layoffs, and it's unfortunate to see those employees lose jobs, but things do go in waves. Right now, Tesla is scaling things back in certain areas, but long term, I think we can expect them to be hiring again for their next-gen vehicle. For now, though, this is just speculation, and we'll have to see how this situation develops. Next up today, despite its love it or hate it design, the Cybertruck continues capturing the imagination of customers everywhere. First, the Cybertruck just received its first major software update that brings some pretty cool improvements with it. The recent update 2024.2.3 includes a number of small fixes, but primarily features two main upgrades that came to this truck. The first is in ride and handling. The Cybertruck features a very advanced adaptive suspension that should allow it to drive efficiently and comfortably in most settings. This update brings some improvements and fine-tuning to those settings, allowing it to handle rough terrain even better. Tesla said, quote, "Get a more consistent response on different road surfaces and greater comfort on rough winding pavement in sport mode or when custom ride and handling is set to focused. Also expect reduced pitch and body roll in off-road mode." The second part of this update is related to the truck's charging. A reality of charging electric vehicles is that many charging stations, while they may be compatible with your car, have different specifications that impact your charging efficiency. Teslas don't have a problem adapting to those differences, but that takes time at the charger, which decreases your charging efficiency. This update seeks to solve that by allowing the truck to adjust to the power level of each DC charging station, so battery preconditioning when you're navigating to a charger and then charging can be more efficient. This is the same update they're bringing to all of their cars, and small updates like these will, in the long run, hopefully do a lot to improve charging times. These small conveniences add up to making a cohesive, smooth overall charging experience. These are some cool additions that should improve the already great experience of owning and driving this vehicle. With that being said, there are plenty of software features missing in this truck that do leave it feeling a little feature incomplete. For example, many of the most basic autopilot features have not made their way to this truck yet, like auto steer on freeways. That's a pretty big feature that anybody who has already owned a Tesla would surely miss when taking delivery of a Cybertruck. In addition, certain features like differential locking or unlocking, a critical feature necessary for rough off-roading, are currently unavailable. This truck offers a ton of great features, but further software updates will do a lot to bring it even closer to its full potential. While the Cybertruck is still missing some features that we would like to see, that hasn't stopped owners from modifying this truck in some pretty awesome ways. User Heavy D Sparks shared this photo on Instagram of his Cybertruck, and he has outfitted it with some huge snowmobile treads. This isn't the first time that he has done this with a mod, after even installing them on a Model 3 back in 2020. With treads like these, it's hard to imagine any kind of terrain that this truck wouldn't be able to conquer. Some videos have floated around online of the Cybertruck getting stuck in snow, but I can't wait to see what happens with these. This is a really crazy, impractical mod, but it's always fun to see how people are putting their Cybertrucks to use, even in the most crazy ways. While this truck has certainly had its fair share of detractors, demand for this truck is clearly still at record highs. As a result, a number of Cybertruck owners and reservation holders are already trying to turn around and flip their limited edition vehicles, and some are asking pretty insane prices. A Florida exotic car rental service has a Cybertruck listed for a jaw-dropping $275,000, well over twice this truck's MSRP. Others are going for more modest prices across the country, with some coming in between $115,000 and $150,000. The Florida company has been advertising its arrival to their rental fleet soon, so it sounds like they haven't even taken delivery of this truck yet. This particular post may just be a way to drum up interest in the company, but they are not an outlier in this way of selling. Inside EV's survey of Cybertruck flippers noted that most of the examples that they found for sale had not yet been delivered. Most of them still had anticipated delivery dates well into March and even April. Tesla is estimated to deliver less than 50,000 units this year, so they are definitely trying to capture a market that really doesn't want to wait. Some owners have been listing their trucks as leases, and that could be a way for them to skirt around a rule Tesla has regarding their resale. Tesla includes a clause in their purchase contract that essentially forbids reselling for the first year of ownership. Anyone caught reselling without Tesla's permission have to pay upwards of $50,000 in fines. That was designed to prevent scalpers, but as we can see with some of these prices, some people were not dissuaded. One truck out of San Diego is listed for a 1-year lease worth $162,000. Once the year-long lease is over, which is exactly as long as Tesla's anti-flipping clause, they will let the leasee buy the truck for just 1 cent. This kind of thing is clearly a way for resellers to try to get around the flipping clause that Tesla has. As of now, Cybertrucks are currently being delivered without their wheel covers installed because they are causing excessive and unusual wear to the tires. Wheel covers can have a surprisingly large impact on a car's efficiency, with some cars seeing improvements as much as 5 to 10%. These covers do require some gap between the edge of the wheel cover and the tire itself to allow air to pass through to cool the brakes. That gap did cause a bit of a problem back when this car was in testing, as one Cybertruck lost it entirely on the freeway during testing. Tesla seemingly fixed that issue, but may have course-corrected a little too much, resulting in wheel covers that are a bit too close. Tires naturally bulge during driving, and that bulge is putting the tire directly in contact with the wheel cover. Over the course of even just a couple thousand miles, that has had some pretty substantial wear on the sidewalls of the tires. As such, Tesla has begun a redesign of these covers in order to prevent this issue. This isn't an official recall, but rather Tesla is referring to it as a parts containment pending revision. We're not exactly sure when this updated cover will become available, but some users on the Cybertruck Owners Club claim that they have received communications indicating March. In the meantime, it may be best to remove the wheel covers from your already delivered Cybertruck, if you have one, to preserve your tires. If you choose not to remove them, the advice is to fill your tires appropriately to cut down on the amount that your tire bulges against the road and then against the cover while driving. Hopefully Tesla is able to fix this quickly, and hopefully they offer a free replacement to all customers affected by this issue. It's definitely a disappointing thing to see, and one of those things that's like, if this only happened in a couple thousand miles, how did they not have this issue in their own testing? The Cybertruck is a very hot commodity right now, and it's not surprising that some people would try to capitalize on the buzz surrounding it. Since it may be very difficult to get a hold of one of these trucks new for a while, a lot of people are going to turn to the secondhand market, no matter how much more expensive it may be. That just goes to show how intrigued a lot of people are by this truck, and how much Tesla stands to gain by ramping up its production. I hope they can continue speeding up their production and delivery process so this truck can get into as many hands as possible. Then I'll be excited to see the range extender come to fruition. Next up today, new reports are showing that customers shopping for an electric vehicle report higher satisfaction than those shopping for ICE vehicles. Cox Automotive released their annual Car Buyer Journal study that reported that 69% of car buyers were overall highly satisfied with the car buying process. Electric car buyers had a much better time with the car buying process, with 80% of shoppers reporting being highly satisfied. Tesla has paved the way for alternative ways to purchase a vehicle, pioneering their online sales approach. 43% of car buyers completed their purchases using a mixture of in-store and online sales channels, with 71% of them preferring this approach. An additional 21% reported that they would have preferred an entirely online process. EV customers report even higher numbers, with 69% of customers using a combination of online and in-person. An increasing number of customers and automakers are becoming comfortable with the online sales process, and that is in large part thanks to the huge steps that Tesla has made here. The way customers buy and shop for EVs has also significantly sped up the car buying process. Customers report the entire process taking about 11 hours in total to purchase a new EV, a full hour shorter than those buying ICE cars. Tesla accounts for a huge chunk of new cars sold in the US, and their sales process has made huge waves in the industry. Anyone who has purchased a new Tesla knows just how easy it is. If you know exactly what car and options you want, you could go online and order a brand new car right now within minutes. You don't have to deal with dealer markups or haggling, or any of the things that historically made buying a car such a hassle. In response, other automakers are taking a page out of Tesla's book and are looking to streamline the buying process or offer an entirely online option. Many customers, though, are still interested in some part of the shopping process being in person, so they have someone easily accessible to talk to. If you have questions about your car during the Tesla buying process, it can sometimes be hard to get a hold of anyone to answer your question. Of course, there are always ways to improve this process, but Tesla is clearly on the cutting edge, not just with their cars, but the way that people shop and buy them. It is a big shift, though, to order your car online and only get communication through text and through the Tesla app. Last up today, some updates from other automakers. The United States Postal Service has announced that they have purchased 6 electric vans from EV startup Canoo that will be delivered this quarter. For years now, the Postal Service has been planning to adopt electric vehicles into their fleets, but progress on that front has been slow. Their current plans include a $40 billion investment into 66,000 electric delivery vehicles and charging infrastructure across the nation. Those vehicles will include 21,000 off-the-shelf vehicles like these from Canoo, and the remaining 45,000 will be custom vehicles to arrive by 2028. These vehicles will be the right-hand drive version of the LDV 190 van, which has a 79 kilowatt-hour battery that can travel 200 miles on a charge. In addition to the canoes, the Postal Service has already announced purchases of up to 9,250 Ford E-Transit vans and are currently awaiting their next-gen delivery vehicles. Postal delivery is a great application for EV technology, and that transition makes a lot of sense. Mail deliveries do a lot of stop and start driving, which EVs will excel at, given their instant torque and the fact that their engine won't need to idle while the driver is out making a delivery. Amazon and FedEx have already begun to transition to electric vehicle delivery, so the Postal Service following suit only makes sense here. It will be great to see utility and service vehicles transition to become fully electric, as EV platforms should excel in those use cases. Premium sports car manufacturer Lotus has laid out their plans for their electric vehicle transition, and it's a bit different than some might have expected. Lotus is known for their high-end performance sports cars, so a lot of people were very surprised when they announced that their first EV would be an SUV. While they may be known for those sports cars, they clearly don't want to be defined by them. They already have an EV out, and it's a very high-quality entry into the somewhat oversaturated market of electric luxury SUVs. Soon they'll have 2 additional models coming, the Emeya sedan and Type 134 crossover SUV. Offering a more diverse lineup of vehicles is allowing them the time and resources to develop what they aspire to be the first fun-to-drive EV sports car. Their current gas-powered sports cars will be their last gasoline-powered models as they embrace the electric future. As it stands now, they are not planning to show off their electric sports car until sometime in 2025 and won't be selling it until 2027. This is a really bold move for a company whose image is so closely tied to their sports car lineage, but they clearly have been able to apply their premium quality to their new vehicles. Their current EV is highly reviewed, and I can't wait to see what they come out with next. Jeep will be launching their first all-electric vehicle later this fall, the Wagoneer S. Ahead of its launch, the brand has given us some look at the interior and some of the features that will accompany it. This electric Jeep is built for all-terrain navigation while also offering great street performance. It offers a 600 horsepower motor configuration, which will propel it from 0 to 60 in 3.5 seconds. They're aiming to offer 400 miles of range, which would make it one of the highest range EVs in the US. Now we have gotten our first look at this SUV's interior. It has 4 screens across the dashboard, including an instrument cluster and a passenger side control panel. It features a standard panoramic sunroof and a 19-speaker premium audio system. It has a focus on premium technology, like its advanced terrain features, and multifunctional steering wheel that keeps controls at your fingertips. This vehicle is powered by Stellantis' STLA large EV platform, which features extended range and performance. Jeep will also be launching a Wrangler-like EV this year that will feature removable windows and doors. This is their first step into the EV world, and it's great to see another legacy automaker make a commitment to electrification. Lucid has just announced a huge expansion of their Arizona-based factory to majorly increase production. On top of their already existing production facilities, they will be constructing an additional 3 million square foot factory and warehouse. They will be majorly increasing output of that factory, raising production of the Air, the upcoming Gravity SUV, and all of their additional upcoming models for the future. They're currently planning for a new mass-market midsize car that aims to directly take on the Tesla Model 3. That car is estimated to have an MSRP of around $50,000, which would be a huge milestone for a company that has so far only made luxury vehicles. The company is also in the process of getting their new vehicle stamping facility up and running. This process should allow for faster and more cost-effective car production once it becomes operational later this year. Lucid currently has some major profitability problems, with each car sold leading to losses up to $300 a piece. That is a huge issue for the growth and sustainability of the company, and every piece of this process needs to be slimmed down to make these cars eventually profitable. A VP at Lucid said this, quote, "This expanded state-of-the-art plant will bring greater operational efficiency to our manufacturing process and allow us to continue to deliver our high-quality, groundbreaking electric vehicles to our customers. I hope that Lucid is able to get a handle on their finances and that increased efficiency in production is able to help the company succeed. Overall, that is the hardest part of the process, scaling up to profitability." Another major Tesla competitor is always great for customers and the EV industry as a whole, so I'm excited to see what comes next from Lucid. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see how Tesla is losing their biggest customers, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.